I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. As we move on to chapter 8, which is the second part of the chapter regarding terms, signs and instruments, we now look at ornaments. And ornaments are just symbols that show a decoration of a melody line without the need to write out all of the little individual notes. And so we have here a trill, which is perhaps the most common of all, I suspect. And it's just a rapid alteration of notes. It's sometimes called the shake as well. I don't like that word. It sounds kind of clumsy. Trill is a much nicer word, I think. And it's always alternating up a note. In modern music, from kind of perhaps the beginning quarter of the 19th century, or the other way of thinking about it is sometimes people say up to including Mozart and Haydn is a good way of finding that cut-off point of where a trill up to and including Mozart and Haydn will begin on the upper note ordinarily, and in more modern music it begins on the actual written note. However, it isn't always the case, and really it has to be flexible so that it can flow smoothly without an awkward repetition of the same note at the beginning of the ornament. And oftentimes trills end with a little flourish at the end of a turn, which we'll discuss later. The upper mordent, with this kind of sort of W wiggle sort of sign, is just a quick, rapid upper note and back again. And the lower mordent is the inverse of that. There's a line through it and it's a rapid alternation of a note down and back again. The turn, I think this is perhaps my favourite because the symbol, I think it just so describes exactly what's going on. And if we think the harmony note is this pitch on the line, so this is the actual harmony note, and we have the note above the harmony note, the note below the harmony note. And if a symbol comes afterwards, so example here, we can see that we have the note and then the ornament follows as well. So we have to watch the placement as well. Here we have quite a mouthful of a word, acciaccatura, or a grace note is the other way of saying it. And actually in sort of pop speak or more popular music, it can be called a crushed note. And basically it's just the note above quickly crushed in on the beat. Just a quick note above and then down to the note. And you can see how an ornament is so much better. It's much easier to just see what's going on here than worry about all of the mathematical permutations of how that's going to work out. It's just a fraction of a note just squished in, just crushed in. So that's why the word crushed note is perhaps helpful. It's not the official term, but it helps us to describe what's going on with the acciaccatura or the grace note. The appoggiatura is similar, except it's divided equally. It's not crushed in, it's divided equally. We're sharing out the division between the two notes equally. And so the more popular way of describing that is the leaning note. It kind of leans in. Again, it's not the official term, but it just helps to describe what's going on. And so let's pop these into context. If we turn over the page, and let's look at some examples of how these ornaments will work out in music. And so whilst the shape of the ornament stays the same, we're going to have to change the time values to squish them into the appropriate amount of notes that we have available. And so you can keep referring back to page 68 as a reference and just have a go and see if you can describe what's going on and find out which is the appropriate ornament. So ornament number 1, well, it's not a trill because we don't have an alternation of next door notes repeatedly. And it's not a lower mordent because although it goes down, it doesn't go back up again. And we can see that it's a turn because we can see above the note, that's the note itself, below the note, back to the harmony note. So we can see it's a turn. We can see that shape that the melody is following. And so number 2, we have the note itself, a quick wiggle up as it were, and then straight back. So it's an upward and back again, just one quick alteration of the note. And so it's not a trill because it's not a repeated alteration. It's not a lower mordent because it's not going down. It's the upper mordent because it's a quick sort of alternation up and then straight back to the note. And then number 3, we can see that we have the same but in reverse. It's inverted down. We have an alternation down and then straight back again, so we can see that that's the lower mordent. So perhaps now you feel like you can just try these next 2. I do suggest that you do. It doesn't matter if you go wrong. We can always check through and you can just erase it out and have another go. It's always better to learn by your mistakes. So let's see what we've got going here. So we have all of this here adds up to a quaver beat, and here a quaver beat. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a quaver beat, a quaver beat. So there's a lot of movement going on here. We have a rapid alternating next door notes going up, back, up, back, up, back. And so that is the classic example of the trill. There's no ornate ending, it's just literally a basic trill, and that's fine. Now in this next one, so we have the note and then the ornament comes into play after half a beat, and a little tie there as well, and we can see the shape. That's the harmony note. We have above the note itself, below the note itself, and there's the turn, that familiar turn. That's my favourite. And then number 3, so again we have the note, down a note and then back again. And so you can see that it's kind of like this, only at a slower, kind of slower written out, but the principle remains the same. We have the lower mordant. In many ways, these ornaments are realised in slightly different ways every time, and there's a lot of flexibility open to the performer. Just the general shape of it must always represent these ornaments. And so we have here the note itself, a quick bob down and then straight back again, and so yet again we have another lower mordant. And then here we have an alteration up and then back again, and so it's the reverse. We have an upper mordant, and then here, now it looks like it's alternating downwards, which wouldn't be appropriate, but remember we can sometimes start on the upper note, and then this is the note itself, and then we keep reiterating upwards so that it finishes in the appropriate spot. Either way, we can see it's a rapid alternation of next door notes, and that can only mean that it's the trill. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.